Up next, new details in the David Wayne Hyslop case as jury selection ends and the trial begins.
There's really no emotional reaction from this.
And Governor Schweitzer talks Keystone Pipeline. That's coming up on Fox 5 News at 9.
Your first local news at 9 starts right now, only on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. After more than 2 days of jury selection, the trial of David Wayne Hyslop is now underway. The prosecution and defense each started with opening arguments this morning. Hyslop facing one count of deliberate homicide. He's accused of murdering his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter last June. Reports say the toddler October Perez suffered head injuries suffered while in Hyslop's care. She later died at a hospital in Salt Lake City. The judge denied a motion by the defense to change the venue of the trial. The 29-year-old could face the death penalty if convicted. With more on the trial's first day, here's Fox 5's Casey Drescher.
Thanks, Emily. The week began with jury selection, and after 2 days of deliberating, opening statements were made this morning. County Attorney John Parker is making the case that Hyslop has told authorities one story only to change it 5 times during the investigation, while the defense is taking issue with the investigation itself. Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez has more from this morning's testimony.
Breathing?
Yeah, she's trying to be breathing and she's crying, she's just limp and she won't move.
Okay, we've got them on the way. They'll be there in just a few, okay?
The defense for David Hyslop is making the case that the death of 2-year-old October Perez last June was not adequately investigated.
We will come back and request that you find David Hyslop not guilty.
Attorney Larry LaFountain told the jury that the mother of October Perez has conflicting statements, while the timeline of events and medical evidence don't point to his client.
Fingerprints actually across the left forehead area. There's no medical evidence to support that.
The attorney John Parker isn't buying it. His opening statement referred to Hyslop's 5 different accounts of what happened that night, and the fact that Hyslop never visited October in the hospital.
There's really no emotional reaction from it.
Prosecution called paramedics and EMTs who cared for Perez that night. They both say her head was badly bruised and she was comatose.
This is going to be an abused death case. This child's going to die.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We just took a CT of her head and she's going to die.
In the cross-examination, the defense questions focus on the fact that October had been previously injured 2 days prior to that night, yet her mother had done nothing about it.
And when this child fell, this child hit its head on a concrete floor. That was from his mother's statement.
Yes.
Thank you.
Both sides want to blame someone for October's bruising and ultimately her death, but just who deserves it will unfold as the case continues.
Thanks, Ashley. The state continued to call witnesses to the stand well into the afternoon, including medical professionals that were on the scene. Graphically sensitive photographs were shown to the jury as the state highlighted the extensive bruising to 2-year-old October Perez's body. A sexual assault kit was also presented as evidence, and paramedics and flight nurses who attended to Perez say her bruising evolved the night of her alleged trauma, which they say indicates that the bruising and swelling was fresh and cannot be from a fall October sustained 2 days before the incident. During testimony, medical professionals said that October Perez's bruises and behavior showed a suspicious pattern of injury, showing significant brain injury, and that she wasn't breathing enough on her own to survive.
Initially, she told me to take him to jail. She relayed to me that when she returned home, David was acting very strange, in her words, acting like he'd done something wrong.
This child was laying on that ambulance stretcher, and she was rigid in the sense that she was extensively posturing. Her arms and legs were curling out, and her back kind of in a grimaced, primitive neurologic fashion, which suggests to us many things. One, that she has a severe issue going on.
The state will continue to bring witnesses forward tomorrow, including a radiologist and October Perez's mother. The trial begins at 9 a.m. Stay with Fox 5 for continuing coverage of the case. In the studio, Casey Drescher, Fox 5.
Thanks a lot, Casey. Moving into weather now, Chief Meteorologist Adam Coslin is here with a first look at our forecast.
Well, good evening. Things not too active tonight, as we're only seeing showers in some areas, but a better chance for more of this active weather is coming up. And we're going to take a look at a few of these storms in the forecast. And some larger effects with the front moving through, much cooler temperatures and widespread rainfall by Friday. That rain even mixing with some mountain snow in the higher elevations. We'll let you know what to expect coming up in your Weather Authority. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Adam. President Obama's attempt to block the Keystone Pipeline keeps getting tougher as more Democrats side with Republicans in support of the project. Our very own Democratic Governor Brian Schweitzer has spoken out in support of the pipeline project.
Well, I've been a supporter of the Keystone Pipeline for the last 3 years. And of course, I know that this is a source of conflict-free oil. And we've got to get off this addiction to oil coming from these dictators overseas. And Alberta, my neighbor to the north, they are the best source of oil for the United States in the future.
Last week, 69 House Democrats helped pass a bill that holds a provision to allow the construction to move forward. The president, however, says he'll veto the bill. April is often dominated with concerns over domestic and child abuse and other important social issues. But it's also a National Awareness Month for a disorder that's being called by some an epidemic in the U.S. Autism is being diagnosed more and more, and it's unclear if it's just being diagnosed better or if the disorder is actually becoming more common. Fox 5's Rachel Osley has been working on an in-depth look into this disorder. Rachel, tell us a little bit more about this puzzling awareness ribbon.
That's just it. Puzzles represent autism because the disorder is still so mysterious to us. Plus, each piece of the puzzle is different, and as a spectrum disorder, no two people with autism are the same. The rainbow colors represent hope because it is proven that with early intervention, people can lead fruitful lives with their diagnosis.
What is that?
Monkey. Meet JC. You wouldn't know it just by looking at this sweet 4-year-old girl, but JC is one of the millions of children with autism. Research estimates that 1 in every 88 children in the U.S. will be diagnosed with autism. That used to be 1 in 100 just a few years ago.
It's primarily a social communication disability characterized by a lack of natural learning, those social communication skills.
Some signs of autism include delays in communication and social development delays. Some children with autism may be nonverbal. Some do not like physical contact or social communication like eye contact. But autism is truly a spectrum disorder.
Every child that we diagnose as having an autism spectrum disorder is different.
JC is in the middle of the spectrum, but there are cases with severe manifestations of the disorder with major developmental delays all the way to minor symptoms. Clinicians often say parents just know.
Just before she turned 2 years old, we decided, okay, this isn't completely typical.
People that are trained in this evaluation can tell the difference between a child who is just generally shy to a child that meets the diagnostic criteria.
The national gold standard used to diagnose autism is a play-based assessment called Autism Diagnostic Observation Schedule.
The earlier you intervene, the better the success is.
Treating children with autism is difficult due to communication barriers and because, according to Theory of Mind, children with autism lack the ability of reciprocal communication. That is, they think and understand things differently than the average person.
Understanding that other people perceive things differently than they do, or other people have different interests than they do.
The only proven successful treatment is applied behavior analysis.
Reinforce appropriate behaviors, and you're going to give the child multiple trials to learn a behavior and practice it over and over again.
Join us tomorrow night on Fox 5 as we take a look at autism in a family. We'll explore JC's story and how her parents and siblings deal with her diagnosis on a daily basis. In the studio, Rachel Osley, Fox 5.
You know, Adam, I haven't seen much rain. I have seen some clouds. Will the rain be coming quickly, or?
Yeah, it does look like a big change. It's not going to take long with this cool, wet, windy weather. We'll definitely be seeing some of this as you expected, so might need to get out the jackets and umbrellas. Here's tonight's Almanac. Your forecast is next.
Your Weather Authority forecast continues right now on Fox 5 at 9.
Welcome back. A big thanks to Mona from Hinsdale for sending us this photo. your pictures at KFBB.com. Please send in your pictures. We'd love to see them, and we'll have them here for others to check out as well. Let's go and look at the expanded Doppler view tonight. And with the warnings here, we've got a lake wind advisory out over this area around Glasgow, Fort Peck Lake. Gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. This kicks in at midnight, continues until 6 a.m. Friday. East winds will be even stronger during the day Thursday. And on the satellite radar now, you can see where low pressure is coming into play. Offshore, this is kicking in a lot of moisture, so we're seeing rain showers in the east, seeing a few scattered, isolated thunderstorms, and these mainly impacting southwestern Montana. Already it's just partly cloudy in Bozeman, and we have clear skies to report across our viewing area. Fronts to the north, high pressures kind of have been squished tonight and flattened out by few of these pop-up showers in the south. 63 in Great Falls, it's 61 in Lewistown right now, 62 in Glasgow, 64 in Havre, 59 in Cut Bank, a little cooler to the north, 63 in the capital right now, and the winds only breezy in Glasgow, and that's where those winds could be an issue at times late tonight, but they'll be strongest Thursday afternoon. We're also watching for thunderstorm activity to develop by those afternoon hours. Late in the day by Friday, we're considering snow chances as temperatures take a dive to near freezing in some cases. So higher elevations certainly could get some good snow accumulation Friday night to Saturday night. The Rocky Mountain front, the Little Belt Mountains, Big Snowy, and Bears Paw Mountains, all going to be on the kind of the watch zone, if you will. 49 in Great Falls, our low temperatures in the mid and upper 40s in Lewistown, highs in the 70s tomorrow. Elsewhere, just mid-60s, White Sulphur Springs, Townsend. Chances for storms, depending on the timing of this front, there's a little bit of uncertainty, but it looks like afternoon threat there for activity with lightning and thunder in Shelby, 66, 67 in Conrad and Cutbank at 65 in Chester. Hayes, Malta, Glasgow, all in the low to mid-60s. Wolf Point, 63 and 70s for Chinook. A big fall for Friday as temperatures flatten out into the 50s. On Saturday, it's going to be a struggle just to get into the 40s, allowing for snow to mix in for a day there, but temperatures begin to recover by Sunday and Monday. Showers will exit. Tuesday, the sun's out, and we'll pick up our high temperatures close to the 60s and 70s later on next week. So Thursday, Friday, watch out for the rain and the stormy weather. You'll need to switch out that umbrella for a coat over the weekend, as it's going to be much cooler on the Saturday and Sunday. Emily, back to you.
Coming up next, people can't seem to get clean off hand sanitizer. And the Kardashians won't be going away anytime soon. That's in tonight's entertainment update, up next on Fox 5. People just can't get enough of those Kardashians. One college student's embarrassing run-in with the president. And who's the fairest of them all? Find out in tonight's entertainment update. The Kardashians signing on for 3 more seasons on E! Network. The deal is reportedly worth $40 million and gives the network the option for future projects with the famous family. A college student's yogurt lands on President Obama. It happened outside a snack place in Boulder, Colorado Tuesday, and you can hear the president joking with the embarrassed young woman, Kobe Zorbist. Zorbist, a student at the University of Colorado, says she was in a crowd close to the president, and she put her bowl of yogurt on the ground for safekeeping. Then she says photographers raced up behind her and kicked the dish right on the president's trousers. Well, Jay-Z liked it enough to put a ring on it, and now it seems the rest of the world agrees. People magazine naming Beyonce the most beautiful woman of the year. The pop sensation topping the magazine's annual and most coveted list. At 30 years old, she has 16 Grammys and is officially a music icon. This is Beyonce's 9th time making the list. People's World's Most Beautiful Woman issue hits newsstands this Friday. And that's your entertainment update. Albuquerque police say there's an increasing amount of people getting drunk off hand sanitizer and mouthwash. On February 21st, a woman was found dead with 2 bottles of mouthwash at the scene. On March 20th, the man was found murdered in downtown Albuquerque, and the 3 suspects with the man told police they had been doing mouthwash and hand sanitizer shots. APD is concerned because of the easy access of the legal drinks, and kids could start experimenting as well.
Due to our alcohol laws here, we restrict where alcohol is placed in the store, so it's behind the counter. These items are not behind the counter. Effects such as diarrhea, to blindness or vision problems, to memory problems, and then of course to your internal organs will be affected by them. And some of these effects are irreversible effects.
Doctors say a shot of hand sanitizer is equivalent to a shot of 120 proof liquor. Pretty unbelievable that people would do something like that, right, Zach?
I know. Who would even think about that? I mean, hand sanitizer, just clean your hands, you know, come on.
Exactly. Zach Glover joins us now with sports, and tomorrow looks like it's going to be a big day.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the biggest sports days of the year tomorrow with the NFL Draft, and a few of our local stars are hoping to hear their names called. And on the softball diamond tomorrow, it doesn't get any bigger than this, as we've got yet another crosstown clash between Great Falls High and CMR to get excited about. All that and more coming up. Come on back. Sports is next.
Total sports coverage. Fox 5 Sports starts right now.
Well, we've said it before and we'll say it again. There simply isn't anything more exciting in the landscape of the Montana High School sports regular season than crosstown action. And we're now just one day away from the Bison and the Rustlers going head-to-head on the softball field. CMR is off to a hot start with an 8-1 record so far, but the Rustlers did pick up that first loss of the year this past weekend. Great Falls High is more middle of the road at 6-5 this season, but both teams know when it's crosstown, it's all about who wants it more.
I think it'll be a really tight game, but as long as we have our bats going, I know that their pitching's going to be strong, so we just have to be ready, and our whole team is really confident in it, and I think we can take it.
It's emotional. I mean, regardless of how good the teams are, it's always a close game, it seems like, because the emotions are on the line, and it's a big game for these kids, and they've grown up watching it, and to be a part of it is exciting, but they just need to go in and calm their nerves down and go in and play ball.
It's pretty nuts, and like we told the girls last night, if you can't get excited about a crosstown game, you're not going to get excited about anything. I mean, because you're going to have probably the biggest crowd you'll see unless you make it to the state championship game. And I did 3 years of JV, and we never beat them. We came close quite a few times, but never beat them. And I really would like to win that game because, I mean, I like Lindsay and the girls are all great girls, but I would really like to win.
Over on the Legion baseball fields, the first few games for any young team can be the most frustrating ones. With a young roster, the Helena Senators are feeling some of that frustration, dropping their first 2 games to the Missoula Mavericks by a combined score of 26-7 runs. Dominic Sheldon has more on the team from Helena.
Despite their 2 losses over the weekend, the Helena Senators are still all smiles for the beginning of the Legion season.
I'm really excited. I don't know, it's going to be a good year. I think we're going to have a really solid season this year.
If you asked many around the state about the Senators last season, chances are they'd mention Coulter Sternhagen, the power-hitting shortstop that broke home run records. This season, the boys of summer look to develop a new face for Senators baseball.
You don't replace old names, and it's hard to do that. We'll have to create our own identity, and I hope that's one of playing hard.
We will replace it with speed. We're a lot faster this year than we were last year, so we'll play a way different game this year.
They only returned 6 players off last season's AA roster, which makes the leadership of those players that much more important.
You try to set an example as a returner, and, you know, everyone gets experience, and once everyone gets experience, you know, it's just like everyone's been there, and you kind of get the flow of it, and everyone kind of does their part.
After a first week of getting jitters out as they remain positive, the outlook is still bright.
You know, it's an enthusiastic group. I think they're going to be gel as a unit, and I think that it's going to be a learning experience for the kids for a while, but I think we're going to be pretty darn competitive when it comes down to it.
Well, we should have a pretty good team dynamic. I mean, like you said, we've played with all these guys before, and we did well with them in single A. We got a lot of wins, and a lot of good kids came up, so it should be pretty fun.
In Helena, Dominic Sheldon, Fox 5 Sports.
Thank you, Dominic. Well, every year, more than 250 football players' dreams come true when selected in the NFL draft. And former Grizz linebacker Caleb McSurdy is hoping he is one of those players hearing his name called by Roger Goodell in this year's draft. A native of Boise, Idaho, McSurdy led the Grizz in tackles this season and was the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year. McSurdy is a projected late-round pick. So far, he's received calls from 15 different NFL teams, realizing this can be a life-changing experience.
I always look at the NFL, and the NFL has got this aura about it, like, wow, I mean, that's the NFL. And I think, you know, maybe a little bit of that happened, but I think more than that is seeing, like, guys that I played with, like Shannon, Colt, and Mark, and, I mean, you see them playing on Sundays on the TV and making top plays on SportsCenter, and you're like, oh, my gosh, like, I want to do that. You know, how cool would that be? Just to be in this position is unreal for me. I'm very excited. It'll be cool just to see what's going to happen. It's mostly been excitement, a little, you know, maybe a little bit nervous or whatever. And I'm sure that as Thursday and Friday and then Saturday kind of come along, I'll be pretty amped up to see what kind of is going to happen.
Should be a big day tomorrow. That's Check on Sports. We're back after this.
Well, I'm sad to say this is Zach's last night with us. Zach, where are you headed?
Well, from the East Coast, headed back to the East, going back to Maryland. Had a great time in Montana, though. I miss you guys.
Well, we will miss you, but congratulations. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night on Fox 5 News at 9.